with it, and if it turns out lavender, I'm cool too. I just wanted a different hair color because I have been blonde for close to a year now. This is the longest I've had one hair color. So I was really wanting.
What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Yes, it's me, April Love, here in Boston, wishing you a blessed time. Truly hope you're finding reasons to smile, to laugh, to enjoy life, to appreciate everything and everyone around you. So, James Cox, I think, just finished his live stream. I am now doing my live stream. I can't say hello just yet because I'm double screening at the moment. Just give me 1 second. 1 second. Instead. Here we go. Okay, tweet it. There you go. Just trying to get it out there. So what's up? Who's here? Say hello. 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 I am currently at work. Didn't manage to finish a vlog earlier, so I figured I'd do this. And I put out 4 videos yesterday, so that I, let y'all hang out with me while I'm at work. Gonna try to figure out how I can position this. So I can drive. Hey, the unknowns, how are you? Thank you for saying hello. Let's see, will this work? I don't know if it's gonna stay there though. Let's hope it stays because it's gonna get bumpy. So if you fall into the black darkness, I apologize. I am doing good. Getting back to my work week. It's going to get a little darker now as I drive. I may flip the camera around so you can see me driving. But I got to be kind of discreet. The only reason why I don't mind doing this while I'm driving at work is because I am just driving through empty parking lots in a road that's not all that active during the night. I mean, we have a few cars go by, but I can get away with driving as slow as I need to or want to. So, and even if I have the phone in my hand, I have it off to the side. So it's not, I'm not really looking at it, so. But I may flip it. If it falls, I'll pick it up and I'll flip it around so you can watch where I do security. And I'm the only one on duty, so, which is good and bad all at the same time. Good because I don't like to be around too many people. Bad because if something happens to me, who's gonna find me? So, and I'm not, I don't stay in one spot. I'm either driving around or walking around, so. But it's all good. I'm actually just starting my shift. I usually start my live stream. Well, last week was the first time that I did back-to-back live streams every night. I kind of went I call it the lazy way of vlogging because I do vlogs, but I wanted to, it was kind of, I've been fasting, so during the day, it's like my brain is not completely functional, and I haven't really been doing anything between work, between being at home and at work. So It's like I really don't have anything to show. I did a couple videos. I did two live streams and 2 videos for yesterday. I started recording a vlog today. Didn't manage to finish it, so here I am. See if anybody else comes in tonight. So once I get past a certain point, I may just turn the camera around. So I don't know if it's still the unknowns or yep, there you go. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm still learning how to maneuver around the live streams. And I'll warn you now, there'll be moments where the connection's really bad. Because the fact that I'm moving around so much. So, right, maybe I'll flip the camera around. Hello to the second person in the vlog, in the video. There we go. Now you get my view. Hello, Dylan. How are you? Hey, Dylan. While I have you in here, do you have actual videos on your channel, or do you just have playlist? Because I went there to try to leave a comment on a video, but for whatever reason I clicked on videos and they wouldn't come up. I'm doing okay. I'm doing well. I'm at work, just driving around, doing security, checking the land. There's a car on his way up this way, but it's okay because I don't care. As long as they continue to drive, that's cool. I'm gonna put you down for a minute in case it's a po-po. See, I try to be a little smart about it. See, I'll do this at work, but I try very, very hard not to touch my phone when I'm driving. I don't even when I get B shots for my vlogs, you know, I do it for about 5 seconds and then I stop because I don't like, you know, it's obviously not safe for multiple reasons. And yeah, it's against the law too to be playing with any device while you're driving, but I did support you as well, Dylan. Like I said, I tried to go check out a video, but I saw that you, I don't know if you have actual videos, but it did show that you had playlists and not like I clicked on videos and it didn't give me a video list. Maybe it was my connection, I don't know. But I did go and support your channel. Alright, I saw that. It's cool if you just have playlists, but I thought, you know, if you actually have video, like, I try to go, instead of going for the playlist, I try to go for a direct video for the channel I'm checking out. Just stupid people doing, you can guess, or oh well, I wouldn't say that it's crazy, but years I've been at this job for 12 years, and probably the first couple years that I was working here during the summer, they used to drag race on the road until the police would show up. And there was one night where I was walking around in the building that's on the property, and I looked out the window and saw a couple of cars racing. You know, it looked like there was only about 6 cars. So I called it on the radio, go, hey, they're racing again. They called the police. You know, my supervisor called the police at the time, and as soon as they saw the lights up at the end of the road, like 20 other cars' lights popped up, and they all tried to take off. But the police, the property I work on borders 2 cities. It borders a town in Boston called East Boston and the city of Revere. So what the guys racing didn't know was there were police blocking the Boston exit of the property and blocking the Revere side of the property. So, you know, I would say half the cars got away, but at least 5 to 10 cars got stopped before they could even take off. The funny thing is, the little area that I just came back, I did that little turnaround on. A couple of cars tried to go down there, and obviously, from what you just saw, there's no way out. There's a gate blocking, and a couple of cars went down there. But when they came back up, because the police were busy with other people, the other cars managed to sneak by and not get caught. So, but that's happened a few times. And I work at a racetrack. I work at a horse race track. So when the horses, we don't run races like we used to. We run a couple races a year, and this might actually be the last year. But when we did run a full season of horse racing, I would work in the stable area where they keep the horses. So back there, you know, we'd have loose horses on a regular basis. We've had 1 or 2 horses, at least since I've worked here, run out the gates, barely missing traffic. We've had horses run the complete back, stable area, the full track, do a couple of laps. We actually had a fire here. I think the last year or 2 that we had I think it's been at least 4 years since we've had a full season of racing, and there was a fire in the kitchen in the stable area. Luckily, none of the barns got caught on fire, but the kitchen is at a complete loss. I'd go back there, but I really don't want to deal with the gate. But I have videos from when I first started becoming more consistent with my videos. I think I have a couple of videos called Midnight Moments, where I just did, I did vlogs at night on my phone, and you'll be able to see the stable area in those videos, because I I patrolled back there a lot back then. Now it's a little bit more random because there's less people here. So, well, there's only one person on duty at night. So, and unless I feel the need to have to go back there, I don't go back unless I have to and stuff. So, yeah. So what do y'all do? Do you work? Do you go to school? You go to school? Dylan, are you younger or are you, high school, college? I mean, and you're in high school. Nice. Are you enjoying your last years of, regular school? Hey, how are you? Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, I think most kids feel like that. I actually had a decent time in high school. Grade school and middle school were the worst for me. I got teased, I got bullied, all through grade school and middle school. When I was getting ready to go to high school, luckily here in Boston, because it's such a big city, they give you a lot of options of where you can go to school. You don't have to stay in your own town to go to school. So I think there's at least, I'm sure there's more now because of charter schools and stuff, but Boston has at least 20 or more schools throughout the city. And, when you're about to leave middle school, they give you the list of schools and you get to make a choice, your first, second, or third choice. And I picked a vocational school in Boston that at the time had the largest music department. And at the time, I didn't know how to play an instrument, but I really wanted to learn, and I really didn't want to go to school with the same kids that I went to school with through grade school and middle school, because I stayed in my hometown, for the younger grades. But I got to go to a school, and ironically, it was one of the more dangerous, known as one of the more dangerous towns in Boston. But I didn't care because they had a music department, and it wasn't until I got to the school that I found out how big it was. The school had 2 piano classes, a choir class, a band class, a string class where you could learn anything from bass and guitar to violin and other string instruments, to a percussion class. And my percussion teacher primarily taught drum set. But while I was in school, I learned how to play bass. I learned how to play drums. I learned how to play a mallet instrument, which, is like a xylophone or a marimba. I got to visit. I performed a few times throughout the city. And, so I lucked out in that way. Hey, KJ, thank you for stopping in. And Ann, that does say Ann, right? Yeah. Thank you all for stopping by, hanging out with me at work for a little while. Awesome. I played the drums. I still have a kit, but, it's a sin that I don't actually play it. It's partially set up in my bedroom. And I look at it all the time and I go, I should play. Well, I was talking to Dylan, who's a high school student, and I was telling him how, high school was actually my better years. High school was my better years. I was bullied and teased when I was in middle school and grade school, but, I purposely picked a school. Yes, I actually bought a acoustic bass. Was it last year I bought it? Yeah, I bought an acoustic bass last year. I think we've all experienced bullying to one extent, or in one way or another. Even as adults, we gotta deal with this ignorant people judging, and whether it's a racist thing, whether it's just someone thinks they're better than you, or someone wants to judge you for, maybe you don't work a whole lot of hours at your job, or they think you're better than that. I have an issue with somebody that every now and again, because of the way they feel about themselves, they think that I'm judging them when really I haven't said anything to them, and, they'll criticize me for thinking that I think they're better. I'm like, I'm not even saying anything to you. Yeah, definitely. I think bullying has come to a whole new level of, bullying is, and I think the other thing is, I don't think, in some respects, I don't even, we call everything bullying, but I think just as a society, we've been kind of conditioned to, snide remarks that used to just bounce off people back in the day. We've been taught that we deserve more respect, we deserve da-da-da-da. So even the slightest negative comment to somebody will, bring somebody down. And it's not necessarily a form of, saying that they're weak. It's just, maybe. You know what though? Those bullies, they need just as much love as the ones being bullied, because that they're hurting in one way or another. See, I have a smile on my face as I say that, because, I'm always on the fence, even with people that do bad things, and, I'm always on the fence. Like, on one side, I like to see them get what they've dished out. On the other hand, I don't want to see anybody else get hurt. Because granted, there are people of all ages that are truly just negative people. They really just get a kick. Maybe they don't have a worse life. Maybe they don't have problems at home. Maybe they aren't suffering with something, and they just genuinely like to bully other people. But at the same, but for those, but then again, if we don't know those people personally, we don't know their backstory. And for those that bully, and it's a way of them lashing out. Granted, there's no reason for them. It's not right that they're taking it out on somebody else. So this granddaughter. Yeah, I completely understand. I have a cousin. I have a young cousin that she's been bullied off and on. Again, all through grade school and middle school. And now she's going through some really tough stuff. I can't get into details, but she's really in a bad place right now, for a lot of different reasons. Even some of the worst people in our history, there's a part of me that goes, you deserve what came to you. But when I see everybody else going, yeah, they got what they deserved, then I stop and go, but wait a minute. Maybe they got what they deserved, and I'm not an overly religious person, but there's a part of me that, again, it's something that I've always been on the fence with, is whether you believe in karma, whether you believe in God or a religion that says, when it comes to the people that believe in God, they say God is the judge. Let God judge the situation, let God judge the person. But what do we do? You know what I'm saying? Hey, Brenda, thank you for stopping in. I'm doing alright, just hanging out at work for a little bit. Figured I'd get the stream on. And just so you all know, for everybody that comes in here, once this is uploaded to my channel, I'm going to go back and make sure I put at least one of your videos into the hashtag I Am Creator playlist on my channel. Just a way to say thank you. So, I did that yesterday for the couple people that made it into my my live streams. So, because I'm already liking all of you guys, so I can just go back to your channels and throw it, add you to my creator playlist. Get bullied, have not done anything to deserve it. True. Usually it's the ones that kind of stated themselves and, they get bullied, or the ones that are desperate to have friends as well that end up getting bullied, which is the case with my young cousin. Is, she was always the one that, she was desperate to have friends. But, every other time that I seen her, oh, I'm not friends with this person anymore, they started talking about me, or they did this to me, or whatever. I may talk a lot in my videos, and depending on the topic, you might get me to ramble on for a while, but I'm fairly quiet I want to say I'm more socially awkward than shy, and I'm more observant. I'm more of a people watcher, and I think it's because of the bullying that I kind of just sit back. Like, I could be at a party, and I'll probably be the quietest person there. Hey, Bits, thank you for stopping in. And I saw that you put a comment on my channel. I think I've seen all of you have put something somewhere on my channel. I'm just not able to check it right now for obvious reasons. Yeah, even now, my life has always been just go to where I'm trying to get to, and I go home. You know, randomly, I might have the urge to go out and do, out into the public, to go to a park or go to do some recreational thing, but for the most part, I stay home. Wow, it's already midnight. Right, while I'm talking to you guys, I'm going to put this down for a moment, because I need to eat and drink something real quick, because at 3:30 in the morning, I will be fasting. It is 12:25 here in Boston, so I gotta start eating something. So please forgive me if I eat with food in my mouth. But yeah, so I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, because I don't have much with me today, so alright. Alright, got a banana and some sesame seeds, honey roasted cashews to snack on. So, where's everybody from? Well, I open my banana. What the heck is that? I think there's animals somewhere making noise, because I heard creaking. Iowa, Cali, yeah, over the last couple of years, my anxiety's gotten worse, but I tried to counter it with meditation, listening to motivational videos, making my own videos. Falls. I live in Missouri. Nice. So we're in California, and do you see a lot of YouTubers walking around? Because I know a lot of the big ones are out there, so. Alright, trying to think of something that I can do a poem about. I was raised I'm sure you get that, especially online. I'm sure people ask you, like, you ever see famous people? I think trying to think of something to say. Kind of want to do a freestyle poem. Who wants to hear a freestyle poem? Door? Sure. So this will be extra freestyle because usually when I do a poem as a video, I obviously edit out the pauses in between each line and phrase because I'm trying to think of the next line. A lot of my poetry videos usually happen on a whim though. Let's see. Trying to think of a topic. Alright, I think I got something. Let's see. And I'll try to make it a little entertaining, so hold on. Let me finish my handful of cashews. But something's developing. Let's see. Alright, so let's see. Three people in the chat. 6 thumbs up. Flipping the camera to look down the road at my future. Look at the lights. Can you see the street sign? It says speed limit 25. The wind and the trees and the clouds in the sky. I can't help to appreciate the nightlife. No, not the clubbing. Just the peacefulness of the night sky. More people in. It went to 4, now to 7. Hashtag I am a creator community. I am working right now. Doing security in a parking lot with nobody around. All right, let me try to start this poem again. I got something going on. So, freestyle poem, take number 2. Whoosh. All right. Looking down the road at the street lights, street signs, speed limit 25. Wind in the trees, clouds in the sky. Can't help but feel blessed to be part of the nature of this land. With a lot of downtime, I get to do what I love. Sit in this room with great creators at hand. With planes flying by every now and again. You can hear it rolling by now. 'Cause I live near the airport, yeah. Trains down the road too. With traffic down the other way. Life all around me. And all I can do is look up and say, thanks. Thanks for my life. Thanks you for my breath. Thank you for my creativity that brought me to you. Thank you for connecting me with people with love and positivity in their hearts and minds. Wanting a better life for us, for ourselves and those around us. This hashtag I am a creator, filled with creators, created by the ultimate creator. Now don't get it twisted, I know not everybody believes in him. But that's okay because we all have something that we do believe in. Whether it's ourselves or in science, whether it's God or the lions. We all have something that we follow. Our instincts, our hearts. The person in the front of the line. I hear the chirping and creeping of the nighttime wildlife. Again, a blessing to be heard. And something to be respected. Something we take for granted. But when you see that coyote run by you, or that raccoon get hit by the car, it reminds you that those on 4 legs, or those that try to stand up on 2 that are not us, they breathe, they bleed just like we do. We take that for granted. The wind blowing the leaves. We take the clouds in the sky as a gloomy day, when maybe it's just God's way of saying, take a rest. Whether we work nights or work days, whether we stay at home or work all day, we need to stop and count our blessings. Whether it's the blessings of our fingertips to scratch our face or pick our nose. Whether it's just getting up in the morning and someone you have no clue who they are saying hello. As I stop to take a deep thought, take a deep breath. Think of the words that I'm saying. I smile because I'm happy that right at this moment I'm creating and connecting this is what life is about. Doing what you love, sharing it with others. As I end every video stream or anything I do speaking to others, I say like, love, share, and inspire. That means like yourself, love what you do, share and inspire the world, because somebody's going to relate to you. We're all very gifted. And whether we all believe in him or not, we all have a talent or skill, whether we know it or not. And the blessing of what we're doing right now is like-minded people coming together to make a change. That's what this community has became. And added to my blessings to count, thank God Almighty, we're making positive change now. I think that's the end of it. I was trying to find a way to end it. Oh, no. This is on off the brain freestyle, but no, Eminem ain't gonna be calling me. Eminem ain't gonna be calling me. If he's looking for someone that can do spoken word, which I know is I know rap in general is a form of. Thank you so much. Thank you, I appreciate it. But I know rap in its essence is a form of poetry, and I know even today, after how long rap has been around, that a lot of people still see it as just a useless, some people still judge it as a useless art form, or judge it as not really being music. But to me, it's definitely another art form. It's definitely falls in the category of poetry. I think a lot of lyrical songs could be considered poetry. I'm trying to get more cashews. But yeah, and like I said in there, we all have a purpose. We all have something creative about ourselves, whether we realize it or not. Hello, Crazy Mad Mower. Nice name. I mean, you don't know how many people that tell me, oh, I don't have any talents. I have a cousin, right, that, hold on. There you go. Somebody was about to go in the wrong direction. But, so I have a cousin that is very much into makeup, and I'm not into makeup at all, but the looks that she's come up with her makeup, and that I've seen pictures of, she's definitely a makeup artist, you know. Like I said, I could care less about makeup personally, but I can appreciate the craft and creativity that it takes to put the designs on fingernails, or what some women can do with the blush and everything around the eyes. You know, if you look at the detail, that's my cousin. She won't even go to the corner store without, you know, her face or her face on. Me, I'm like, I don't like the way it feels. My face gets dried out enough. I don't have the money to be buying it anyway. And I want to feel comfortable as as myself. But to see what she can do with makeup, though, you know, I can appreciate the artistry that goes into it. You know, whether you're a tattoo artist, whether you're baking cakes, whether you're painting or whatever, or dancing, everything has its own, art element to it. Even sports, to some extent, okay, you can find an art element to it. A creativity to it. Definitely. Pamela. Alright. I'm gonna have to start moving again. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me for a little bit. I'm going to keep going for at least another 15 minutes. Yeah. Which I really need to go see one. But one, I can't afford it. Two, I've had so many bad experiences with dentists that it's hard for me to voluntarily go to a dentist. I honestly haven't been to a dentist in years. The last time I went was to get a tooth pulled because of a toothache. I have 2 broken teeth in the back of my mouth right now that really need to come out, but I really, again, can't get myself to go. Of course, I'll wait until I'm in agony, so when they poke me, it's going to hurt even more. Luckily, the broken teeth are not aggravating me at the moment. But I know I need to go. Let's put it this way. When I was about 12, it was probably about 12, yeah. Went to the dentist, and they pulled out I want to say at least 6 teeth. All baby teeth. And apparently they didn't tell my mother until they started. And by the time I left, the shirt I had on had a V-neck of blood from the collar, like right here. And ever since then, trying to get me to go to the dentist. Ain't happening. I'm 41 years old and I know I need to go to the dentist. It's been who knows how long since the last time I went. And even when it comes to the doctor, unless I really feel like it's needed or if it's time for a physical, because I'm not a fan of, I've gotten into home remedies and stuff of that nature. I'm just watching cars drive by. But, I try to go to help, like when I get sick, like if I feel like a sinus or a cold coming on, or flu-like symptoms, I will drink a cup of water, a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, a dash of ground ginger, a dash of cinnamon, and I'll do that a couple times a day for a few days. And if it doesn't completely stop the cold or sinuses from completely acting up, at the very least, I'm going to flip this around again. Yeah, I've learned that more and more. And I've watched so many different documentaries. A great example is I was diagnosed probably 5 years ago with hypothyroidism. And of course, the doctor said, oh, you're going to have to take this medication every day for the rest of your life. And I asked, so if I change anything in my diet, it won't help the situation, help to regulate it? And they're like, there's no evidence of changed diet that to help with the thyroid. So I was like, okay. I reluctantly took the medication, used it for probably less than a year. You know what else is very good that it has worked for me multiple times in the last year? Exactly. What I've been using for my teeth is I've been doing tooth pulling, oil pulling with coconut oil. And also I put I'll take a piece of raw ginger and put it next to the achy tooth, and it helps as well. I heard the inside of the banana peel works as well. Right. I know ginger Ginger and turmeric are both anti-inflammatory, viral. No, hold on. The ginger is anti-inflammatory, anti some other stuff. I know it's good for. It's good for nausea and digestion and all that stuff. I know turmeric is like one of the superfoods that's good for antiviral, antifungal, anti blah 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 blah. And recently, I was starting to look into hemp oil or started looking into hemp oil and reading about CBD oil and what's the difference between the two. Because I was dealing with a whole lot of stress and anxiety in the past few months, and I was getting to the point where like I felt like I won't take any antidepressants. I don't believe in them. Yeah, and lavender is a natural calmer. Hello. Geek Girl finds hello. Hey Kenneth, nice to see you again. But yeah, I was looking into hemp oil, and I got a small bottle of hemp oil from Amazon, and I don't think it was CBD, but I was reading that hemp oil, not hemp seed oil, but hemp oil still helps. Yeah, that's what's kind of I think that's what's happening with my young cousin. I really can't get into detail because it's not my situation, but she's going through a lot, and they've put her on a couple of different things in the last, say, 6 months, I think. Yeah, but she's in a really bad place right now, and she's only 14, so. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. What's funny was I was reading through some of the reviews on Amazon on a couple of the different brands of hemp oil that they have, and even in the question section. You know how in Amazon they have the section where people ask questions and people give answers. There's a couple of arguments going back and forth. No, CBD oil and hemp oil are not the same thing. The CBD oil comes from the actual plant and from the stem and from the flower, and the hemp oil just comes from the seed. It doesn't have the same properties. It doesn't have the same healing properties. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I honestly don't know that much about it all. Yeah, that's what I've read. I mean, I've done a little bit of reading before I even bought anything. And the one that I bought, I did notice almost immediately. I did feel a bit calmer, and what I liked about it even more so was I didn't feel the need to have to take it every day. You know? Yeah. Yeah, I know. I gotta, that's the other thing. I was trying to find something on, list online of, reputable, reputable sites or brands or whatever. Because right now I don't know offhand where I could actually get it here in Boston. I mean, Massachusetts is still trying to figure out the logistics of, dispensaries anyway. Yeah, no, and that's my whole reason for wanting to use it as well is, you know, and like I said, I like the fact that like I don't feel the like when I started noticing the change when I was using it, I didn't feel like I needed it every day. It didn't feel like something that had to be an ongoing thing, which is good because I'm not someone that is good at taking things on a consistent basis. So, and I don't have anxiety on a regular basis. So, thank you for stopping in. You have a good night. Much love. Have a good night, Pamela, and stuff. But right, yeah, I've read that. All right, you have a good one. Um, if you're on Facebook, Geek Girl, all my links are down below. Um, Actually, I don't know if my personal Facebook is on there. I know my Facebook page for Ayla Productions is on there, but all my socials are down below, so you can reach me at any of those. On Facebook, you can even look up April Love. You'll still see me as the picture, so because I know there's multiple April Loves on there, but um, I don't know if I don't think I put my personal Facebook on there because you know, I kind of want to keep it personal. But if people find it, they find it. So because I do have an Ayla Productions. Geek Girl Finds. Okay. Let me see if I can. I'll flip this over real quickly. Let's see what I can do. I'm looking right now. Let's see. Come on. That's the only thing I don't like about using. Let's see. Geek. Girl. Maybe I put it in wrong. I'll look for it later, or you can find me. Let me close it. Close. Hold on. Hold on, wait a minute. Gotta put. Seriously saved my life. Yeah, see, that's why I was even thinking about using it, because back in the day, I'm definitely someone that is very cautious about any kind of substance, legal or otherwise. And, when I was younger, I kind of fell for the say no to drugs thing, and, you know, saw marijuana as, the same thing. But over the years, as I hear about, the benefits of it in like the different components of it, like the CBD oil, the hemp oil, um, you know, and because I am very, I very much so try to, over the last 4 or 5 years now, I've tried to go the natural route for everything from colds to toothaches. So, like, to make me feel better. She haven't just stuck to her. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I would ever smoke it, to be honest with you, because I guess for me, smoking it is just, to me, is almost the same as smoking a cigarette, because of the fact that you're putting smoke into your lungs. You're burning something into your lungs. But again, having the CBD oil or having it in a different way is is something that's more appealing to me. Right. What I want to do is I want to send it to my husband in Morocco, but I don't know. It. I was trying to find out online, and I think they said the hemp oil, marijuana is illegal there just as it is here, but I don't know if they have any. I mean, it's obviously used a lot over there anyway, even though it's deemed as illegal. Um, but I don't know if I could send him hemp oil to Morocco, because he has arthritis, and I wanted, yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm a Muslim myself. I'm a Muslim convert and stuff, but so, and not because of my husband, but yeah, I actually converted 2 years before I met my husband, and I actually met his mother before I met him. So yeah, it definitely had what convert. I won't get into the whole story, but what actually got me to convert was reading the Quran. I actually got validation from the Quran, and and it wasn't until I got more involved in around more people of the religion that I realized that I really got to see how, in some respects, just like what what Catholics and Christians and Jews may think. Catholics, Christians, and Jews may think of Muslims. Muslims think, the same in the opposite direction, or even in their own faith. There's a lot of hypocrisy too, just as it is in Christianity. But those that I think, I could be wrong, and I guess I should just speak for myself, that what I got from reading the Quran, and maybe you can agree if you grew up with the Bible, is first of all the stories are the same. The story of Noah, the only story that's different, the only real story that's different is the story of Jesus. The only real difference is that they don't believe that he was crucified. They believe that he was brought back to God and, alive. And Muslims don't believe that he's the Son of God. They believe I like to take the best parts of all and incorporate them in my life. I was raised Catholic, and I eventually turned towards pagan and Wiccan. Yeah, I grew up Catholic as well. And so, but really, the only real difference that I've seen between the Bible stories and the Quran is there's very little differences. The overall story, the overall gist is the same. Maybe even some of the parts that contradict themselves. I had a Muslim in one of my life, someone in North Africa. Which thing, about what Muslims believe about Jesus? They believe Jesus is a prophet, just as Moses and David and Abraham and Jacob. They believe Jesus was a prophet. They believe that God did breathe part of his Spirit into him, which I guess you could say would be the Holy Spirit. But they don't believe that he's the Son of God. They believe because if God created everything, he had no reason to create a son. Very much so. At the core of them, right? And I had a Muslim man, I forget which country he said he was in, but he was in Africa, and he was telling me that, that the Quran tells you not to interact with people from other faiths, or that there's a contradiction in the Quran, because in the second chapter of the Quran, there is a passage that says, stand with your Christian and Jewish brothers in the worship of God. But yes, and I know in other passages, in other chapters, it says, stay away from the Christians and Jews. That, in my interpretation of what this part says, is, okay, you know how the Jehovah's Witnesses or the Mormons come knocking on your door and they're trying to, convert you to their religion? Or even in Christianity, one of the Right. No, I know. When I was growing up, let's put it this way. I never received confirmation when I grew up Catholic. I barely received communion. Hello, Nathan. Thank you for stopping by once again. You've been dedicated. I shared one of your videos on my playlist last time you were in here. But what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. Oh, there's a sheikh in Islam that he grew up and was a Christian evangelist back in the 50s and 60s. I forget what his name is now. I think it's Sheikh Yusuf. If you heard him, you could completely tell by his tone of voice that he's first of all Southern. You've heard of him? I listened to a couple of things, and if you hear his backstory, I think he has a page, I'm not sure, but even if you read his story on his page about what, right? Because if you listen to him, you can hear the evangelist in him. All right, you can hear the Southern Christian evangelist in his tone of voice, in his, and I had to laugh at that. And when I was like I'm listening to him, like this was just after I converted, and I'm sitting there going, is he really Muslim? But when I read his backstory about how he was one of those, the Bible says guys, and he grew up believing that, just like a lot of people in this country believe that, and not just this country, I'm learning that all around the world, a lot of people think this of Muslims, that they're barbarians, that they're, they're evil, that they're whatever. I have two kind of funny stories, right? At two separate times, I had two different guys that worked here that were Christian. One was a born-again Christian, and one was just really strong in his Christian faith. Right? The first guy, that was alright, you have a good night. The first guy, he's telling me a story of a co-worker we used to have, and they were talking about religion. And the other guy was Muslim, and the guy was going, Allah believe, my God or Allah is blah 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 blah, and the Christian guy's telling me the story, and he goes, so the guy's saying, Allah, Allah, Allah this and Allah that, my God this and my God that. Christian went, I don't want to say the word, but, fudge Allah. And I'm going, and in my head I'm going, does he realize he just said, fudge God? F God? And I'm like, should I tell him? And I'm like, no. And I'm having this conversation in my head, debating if I should just tell him that you just said F your own God, because Allah is just the Arabic word for God. And I've had people debate me on that. But this guy was getting all heated over this conversation. I go, do I really want to get him more heated? Nah. I just let him go with what he's gonna do, and God will deal with him when the time comes. Because you realize you said f me. Why'd you do that? What are you talking about? Yeah, you know when you're talking about that Muslim. No, so, right. So and then the other guy. This was just after I converted. I told this other guy that I converted. He's like, "Have you read the Quran?" I was like, "Yeah, multiple times." And he's like, "You need to be careful with those Muslims. And that Quran it's evil." And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I don't know if he's fully read the Quran and which translation he's read. But I'm kind of like, okay. But then again, I've heard Muslims say, the Bible's a lie. I've had Muslims tell me, what's in the in the Bible is not real because it's a known fact that the Bible has been altered more than once when the original Quran is still in existence. And so, but at the same time, all the religious stories that I heard growing up in Catholicism, hearing in the church or in the little time I did spend in the right. And I think that's what Yusuf no. I don't think Yusuf Estes. I think that's what his name was, right? Yusuf? I don't think it was Yusuf. I don't remember. But I think when he was one of the videos I've watched where he was explaining his story, he's a good. The reason why I like listening to him is partly because he did live the majority of his life, a good part of his life, knowing the Bible and reading multiple Bibles, so he knows those stories backwards and forwards and whatever. And then him to be as in-depth in Islam as he is, to be able to compare the stories or compare, one of the comparison that he gave was he talked about someone that also mentioned or said to him, that Quran is just filled with evilness. Well, this job that I'm at now, I had a friend that we became very close friends, and then at one point he was a married man, and he got paranoid thinking that people were talking about us. We were friends, but he was paranoid that people were talking about us and it would get back to his wife or whatever. So our friendship it temporarily ended because a couple years later we ended up reconciling and becoming friends again. But at the time, he was paranoid and completely shut me out and pushed me away. And it got me really upset. But one thing he was always going, my religion, my faith, my religion, my culture, whatever. So I was like, okay, I want to understand. So I went and I read the Quran to try to understand. And I started getting validation for myself. I started getting, there was things that I was reading that kind of just validated things that I already believed. Okay. Cool. Yeah, there was one point where I was looking at Mormonism years and years ago. I was also playing with the idea of Buddhism and stuff, because I like the idea of the concepts behind Buddhists, of being kind and meditation, and I like the spiritual side of it. And for years, and even now, I still consider myself more spiritual than I do religious. Um, I'm in the middle of Ramadan, and I really should be reading the Quran right now, but I'm doing this. So, I am fasting right now. Not right now, but I am fasting this month, though. So I actually got to eat again in a little bit. Yeah, and you know what I love, right? And what I've experienced myself, because I've been to Morocco a few times, because that's where my husband is. We've had immigration issues, and financial issues. The financial issues has kept me from going to visit him. Our first attempt at immigration. It's a beautiful country. There are some sad points there that there's a lot of stray animals and stuff, but yeah, it stinks. My husband has it worse than I do as far as us being separated, because if you think the employment issue in the States is bad, he's been out of work since we've been married. And not from the lack of trying to find work. We've been married 6 years. And in the 6 years that we've been married, the first 3 years, at the time that we got married, he just got certified to be a mechanic for like the big cargo ships. And he was gonna start working, but because we started immigration, I was afraid that if he went out to sea, I wouldn't be able to contact him. So I was afraid that if he went out to sea and immigration contacted us, that I wouldn't be able to get him in time. So for 3 years, we were waiting for them to give us an answer. And when they finally gave us an answer, they basically told us, we think your marriage is fake. We need more proof. We didn't have any more proof because we haven't lived together. Definitely. And I don't have the money right now anyway. And I need to get a lawyer before I can attempt it this time. The first time I tried it by myself without legal help. So and how are we supposed to live together, We've been married for 6 years, but spent only about 2 months together in the 6 years that we've been married. Because I've only been there 3 times. And I haven't been there in the last 3 years because of finances. But God willing, things will fall into place. So soon after I converted to Islam, I participated in my first Ramadan. And if you're familiar, during Ramadan, for the 30 days. They have night prayers every night for every night of Ramadan at the mosques. I met my mother-in-law at there, and I only seen her a couple times, and we would randomly talk. She was quiet and usually by herself, but we would talk for a few minutes just before the prayer started. And then we would randomly see each other during the Friday prayer. And then a couple months would go by and I didn't see her again. Then we would see each other again, and then I found out that she lived in the same neighborhood as me, or her daughter did, and she was living with her daughter. So we became good friends. She was actually my best friend for the 2 years that for a good 2 years we stayed in touch as much as possible, saw each other when we could. And towards the end of 2011, I was going through a very bad breakup with somebody, and she was about to go back to Morocco for a little while, and she was originally, the day before she left that year, she was gonna do their traditional thing to ask me for my hand for her son. I don't know if you would necessarily consider it an arranged marriage, because in my mind, what an arranged marriage is when, the parents of each child agree that their son and daughter are going to marry, versus with this, it was more like, I guess you could say more of a suggested marriage. She was going to ask, but because at the day she was going to ask me, I had been very upset about the breakup that I was trying to get over. So she didn't feel right asking me. And probably a week or so after, her daughter had called me while I was at work, and was talking to me, and she was nervous to ask me because she didn't feel like it was her place to ask. But she was like, the day that you were at my house with Mama, she wanted to ask you, about, she did. I don't remember if she came outright and said it, but I kind of got the idea where she was going with the question. She was basically trying to ask me if I would be interested in possibly marrying her brother, or and that she was asking for, on behalf of her mother, my mother-in-law. And at first I was like, you know what? I'm not in a place where I even want to make friends right now, let alone try to have her get married or anything. Like, I'm not in a good mental and emotional state to even play with the idea. But ironically, a couple of weeks after that, it was playing in the back of my head, and I was like, it's been a long time. Maybe if I even just talk to him and try to have a conversation with him, and maybe at the very least we become friends, if nothing else. So I reached out to both my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, and I said, if he's willing just to have conversation without any other expectation, I'd be willing to do that. and see where things go. Marriage right now, no, but I'd be willing to at least talk to him and have conversation. At first, and here's the fun part, he knows very little English. At the time, he knew even less English. But he did message me on Facebook. We slowly figured out that we could use Google Translator to translate back and forth, although the translation often got lost. You know, it would throw in words that were never said, and change things from, if I said I don't like this, it would say I do like this. And you know, so it was a mixture between me and him trying to talk through his mother or her do Google Translator. Once or twice, I tried to call Morocco to talk to my mother-in-law, and then see if I could talk to him on the phone. And in the first conversation, it was, you know, I said, hello, how are you? Or whatever, and then I tried to say a little bit more, and he's like, I don't understand. And I'm like, it's okay. It's alright. But, and here's the funny part, after about a month of talking, I said, you know, I would like to come out to Morocco, to see you and like see where the connection is and stuff, because we actually found that we really did like each other or love each other or whatever. And I was like, I kind of got to the point I was like, well, what the hell. let me at least go out there, and if we feel good about it when we're face to face, then why not? So we went out. I went out there. Yeah, why not? I don't know if you listen to any the motivational speakers or anything online, or if you're familiar with Abraham Hicks, right? I love what she says about, people getting together, right? She's like, don't put the expectation of happily ever after or death to us part or whatever. She's like, with me and my husband, we were kind of like, you know what, I kind of like you, I kind of have a liking for you. Let's see how this goes. I enjoy your company. I think you're pretty nice. Let's see how it goes. And they got married. Instead of going, I love you forever, to death do us part. She's like, you're kind of cool. Let's see how it goes. Let's get married. What do we have to lose? So, anyway. Yep. So I went to Morocco. Luckily, because at the time I had a condensed work schedule where I worked 40 hours within 2.5 days. So I took 3 weeks off, but technically had 4 weeks in Morocco. Basically by the end of that trip, I was married. So. And of course, that was one of the red flags for immigration. Yeah, because he's never been here, so he doesn't even have a visa to visit. He's never even. I think years ago, I think in the early 2000s, he tried to get. He tried to apply for the lottery, visa lottery. I'm guessing around the same time that his sister did, or maybe soon after her. But she came, I think, probably a few years before him because she's older. And then he did, for whatever reason, he didn't get the lottery because if it was a lottery, it would have been random. Well, it wasn't just that. It was the fact that we got married so soon after knowing each other. And the fact that I was friends with his mother first was also a red flag, because I was afraid to leave anything out. So when they wanted explanation of how we met or whatever, I put, I knew his mother for 2 years prior. She, maybe I should have left some of it out. I don't know. But the fact that we got married soon after I got married. Yeah, I know. And supposedly my mother-in-law's friends were telling her, don't have us get married so soon after meeting. Wait a year. But she was anxious, Exactly. So, and now, the only thing we really have going for us is that we're still married even after our first case was revoked and withdrawn. But in that I have been, not consistently because I don't always have it, but I do send him money here and there when I have it. I don't always have it. Yeah. So the only two things we really have going for us is that I do send him money to help support him. And it's not even that much. Like, things are extremely more expensive over there. Especially with the conversion. I think $1 of ours is $8 to $10 of theirs, depending on, the fluctuation. But, and that might sound great, but you go there and let's put it this way. The last time I went there, we went to a coffee shop and he got a little cappuccino or espresso, and I got a bottle of soda because at the time I didn't drink coffee. Now I do. But I didn't drink coffee at the time, so I just had a soda. And I glanced at the receipt when he got it, and it said $35. Or 35 Moroccan dollars, not $35. But to convert that to US dollars, it was probably under $10. But he had to spend 35 dirhams for, Moroccan dollars for 2 drinks. So, and when I send him money, it's usually like $50 here, $50 there. If there's a time where I happen to have an extra 100 or 2, I'll send him that. But I, recently, right now, I know he needs money. He needs to go to the doctor. He needs to go take care of some stuff that he needs money for. And I haven't even been able to send him $50 because my money is very tight right now. Yeah, and especially with Agent Orange Face in the White House. You know, I don't even like to speak of him. You know, when people kept coming up with those nicknames for him, I told a couple people, I said, you know what? I wouldn't even I don't I don't even want to use any adjective or description for him because it's an insult to that particular word. It's like you call him a Cheeto, it's an insult to Cheetos. You call him Mr. Orange, it's an insult to the color and the fruit. You know, because those are all good things. Why should we call him those good things when he's not that good of a person, good to begin with? And each time his face pops up on my feed, I get rid of it. And if he's in the news or on TV, I change the channel. Even calling him it is an insult to the word it. He should have no description. Yeah, I mean, I hear about the things that happen, but I feel like watching him or watching anything that he says or does just kind of inadvertently gives him energy, so to speak. You're putting your energy, negative or positive, in his direction. Like you can hear things, hearsay. Definitely, definitely. He kind of makes me think of the Ghostbuster movies when the officials came in and shut off the power to the ghost chamber. You know, like I feel like it's like something. I feel like I feel like he's the gatekeeper. He's that gatekeeper that or he's like the portal that opened up all the. I mean, some of the positive that has come out of it, though. The interesting thing is yes, it brought all the hatred and racism and sexism up to the surface again, which I guess in some respects is a good thing because now it's up here where maybe it still existed, but we kind of we're working on it. We've been working on it for 20, 30, 50, 60 years. And to see how it's come to the surface like it has, it's like it woke everybody up. And for everybody that really wants to see the change, it also woke us up more to go, you know what? None of us are going to tolerate this. That's why we keep having these rallies. Let's see, all our rights will back. Exactly. I hear you on that. I definitely hear you on that. I come from a mixed family. You know, I come from a mixed family. Um, I got people in my family that are, my brothers are half Spanish, half Peruvian. Their fathers originally from Peru. Me and my brothers have different fathers, but we grew up in the same house. Um, I have relatives that are gay, straight, transgender. I obviously converted to Islam. I have other family members that have, you know, got away from religion or married or got involved with other ethnicities and backgrounds, and so I take it all personal. And even like the education system is broken, and he wants to break it even more. You know, and just like you, like, I don't know if you can sense it, but like, just thinking about it, it's like, you know, but yeah, I am too, but, and it's one of the other reasons why I stay away from the news, is because the more especially when big tragedies happen, like all these shootings and everything, mass shootings that have been happening. When 9/11 happened, I was glued to the TV and the internet. When the Boston Marathon bombing, and I live in Boston, I was glued to the internet and the TV. And as much as I thought I wasn't consumed by it, I was consumed by it. And even like when what was it, the tsunami or whatever that happened in Haiti, and even the natural disasters that have happened in this country, like, I'm not turning a blind eye, but for my own sanity and for my own well-being, I can't watch it. I have to take myself away from it. You're gonna hear it whether you want it or not, and you're gonna see it on social media whether you want to or not. But if I watch the news, and this is where I'll agree with that guy, that and what we already know, we don't need him to tell us anything, is the media is gonna show us what they want to show us. They're not gonna show us every little thing, and the story will get turned the way they want us to hear it or see it. Like, we talk about, the media will talk about how bad everything is getting, and then I look around my community, I'm going, I don't see people beating each other up. I don't see the cops going after the black guy. I don't see whatever, or I don't see my brother, let's be more specific, I don't see my brothers being harassed, because especially one of my brothers, he could easily be racially profiled. You know what I'm saying? One of my brothers, he's not black, he's not dark skinned, but he definitely looks more Spanish, and he could be, Over my time, I live near the border, and ICE is out of control. Yeah. I mean, I've seen videos of that, and the need to... Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And just like the rest of the world, you wonder why hasn't he been impeached? Of course, I think we already kind of know. I'm sure he's paying a lot of people off. I kind of believe that. He's, you know, how can so many people turn a blind eye? Yeah. I guess he's one of those people we can say that he has what's coming to him, whatever that may be. He claims to be Christian, so we know who's watching. You know, again, even those that do evil, I kind of go on the fence about, because, you know, I believe in humanity. So I borderline, like, if something would to happen to him, I would say he got what he deserved, but at the same time, I'm sitting there like I don't know, kind of like when Osama bin Laden was taken care of. Of course, we all know that. Even his supporters know that. They just, again, turning a blind eye, going, look, he's a wholesome Christian, blah, 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 blah. But even when Osama bin Laden, and the world was celebrating it, you know, there was a part of me that was like, you know, made this bring peace to the world, that this person is no longer here. But I also prayed to God that, you know, do what, you know, I basically was like, you're the judge of this, and I know you'll do what, you know, with his soul, what you see fit. Because as evil as that guy was, he did have children, you know. In the same way, you know, I may be doing this a lot this week because I don't know when I'll be able to make a video, but for sure. And it's probably going to be late like this most nights because I'm working every day for the next 2 weeks, so I probably will try to do a couple more live streams instead of vlogs the next week or two. So, but thank you for stopping in. Thank you for chit-chatting and whatnot, and being the last person in. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I enjoyed it too. So, and again, all my links are down below, and I will see you soon. Thank you. I appreciate it. Alright, have a good one. Night, night. And I don't believe I just did a 2-hour stream. And I'm going to end it too. For anyone that comes by this is finally the end of it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. As always, like, love, share, and inspire. Don't forget, love is everything. Much love. Peace. Bye-bye now.